truth seekers. Welcome back. Zach here. We're going to talk more about Jesus in this video. Did Jesus exist? Was Jesus the sun in the sky? If Jesus were real, was he actually black? A lot of things we're going to uncover in this video. Did the Catholic Church create Jesus? Is Jesus a fictional character created by the Catholic Church? We're going to look at all these questions. I just want to start with a little announcement. I put out this video over the weekend. A lot of people said this is the best video I ever made. This morning there's a ton of comments. These are just some of them. People are saying the audio is no longer working for this video. I asked this question on my blog. Some people said the video is working for them. Others said it's not working. People have commented and said that if you watch on my backup channel, I have a backup channel if you didn't know, the audio is still working on my backup channel. And to find my backup channel, it's the same as the name of my blog. Just take the free to find truth part from the front of my blog, search YouTube, the channel should pop up. It's just like that, all is one word, free to find truth. That's where I upload all my videos also. That's the backup channel. So anyway, to begin this discussion of Jesus, this latest discussion, I want to talk more about the TV show The 100, which came out in 2014. Its fourth season just began this February 2017, and it just got renewed for a fifth season. So if you haven't seen this show, it's a creative retelling of the creation of the United States of America, and its beginning with Christianity and the genocide of the natives. Real quick, let me just tell you what happens in season 1, 2, and 3 and what's happening at the beginning of season 4. Season 1, the show begins. The plot is this. People are living in a space station that's been in space for 97 years. And the reason they're living there is because there was a nuclear war that destroyed Earth, killing what is believed to be everyone on Earth except for those people who escaped to space first. The spaceship that the people are living on, it comes up with a problem. All of a sudden they realize that it's running out of oxygen, and if they wait there that much longer, they're all going to die of suffocation. So they say, what do we do? Well, they have 100 juvenile delinquents that are in juvenile detention on this spaceship, and they say that they'll use them as guinea pigs and send them down to Earth to see if people can survive there. So they send this group of 100 teenagers back to Earth as the test. And what the teenagers find out is when they get to Earth, everything seems fine and dandy. The Earth looks beautiful. It's way better than the spaceship. They feel so lucky to be there. And, of course, in U.S. history, they teach us that the first people to immigrate from Europe were the criminals, the delinquents who wanted to get away from the European authority, you know? So criminals starting a nation. Similar story here in The 100. So the first season, when the teenagers get there, what they find out right away is they're not alone. There's native people there, you know? Just kind of like how the European settlers found the natives. And then eventually the European settlers made a genocide of the natives. In the first season, there's a lot of feuding and war and going back and forth between the teenagers and the native people who are there. There ends up being a romance between one of the teenagers and the natives, which brings the people together temporarily. Season 2, what it's about, is another group of people who are living there. People who survived the nuclear fallout because they lived inside of a military mountain base. And these people have military technology. They have missiles, they have gas masks, they have oxygen, they have all sorts of technology. They're the most advanced people still living on Earth. The people who were connected to the military leadership that survived in the mountain during the nuclear fallout. And what happens in season 2 is something called the 47. The people in the mountain capture 47 of the teenagers, and they treat the 47 teenagers as if they're welcome there. You know, they treat them as if, they're saving them. But what you find out is their interest in the 47 teenagers is harvesting what's in their blood. The people who live in the mountain are prone to the radiation that's still on Earth. If they go outside of the mountain, which is protected from the radiation, they die. But they've discovered that if they take the blood from the native people who live outside, or the blood from the people who are up in the space station who've now come down to Earth, and they fuse it with their blood, then they can survive the radiation. You see? So there's 3 groups by season 2. The people who came down from the space station, the teenagers, the 100. There's the native people who live outside and survive, and then there's the people in the mountain who can only survive in the mountain where there's no radiation. And now they need the blood of others to survive the radiation. And it turns out these people in the mountain, what they've been doing all this time is capturing native people and killing them for their blood. So the 47, and remember, words such as government, authority, have gematria 47. This is like the remaining descendants of the people who were in the government on Earth when the world blew up. What happens in the 3rd season is religion comes. The man who was the leader in space, he comes down to Earth. He ends up going on this spiritual journey. He kind of plays the part of Jesus, and then he brings this religion to the people. And before long, the religion turns into a join my religion or I will kill you genocide type of movement. And season 4, which is just starting, is now bringing all of these narratives together. But this is what I want to show you about the beginning of season 4, episode 2. I want to show you what happens in regards to this episode and the character who's like Jesus-like. These 2 young women who are leaders of the 100 that are first sent down, they're having this discussion. They're in a bad situation. They're saying, what can we do to solve the problem? While they're talking, Jaha comes in the room, who's the black man who was the leader of the spaceship before it came back down to Earth. He wasn't sent down with the initial 100. He came down later. But anyway, his name is Jaha, and he comes in and says, am I interrupting? And this girl whose name's Raven says, what do you want? And, well, it's not important. So Jaha comes and he says, I was an engineer before I was a chancellor. He's saying that because being an engineer, he has a solution to offer for their problem. I supervised the redesign of Sector 5, says Jaha. And it's no coincidence they use the number 5. And then Raven asks, and how many people died from Sector 5? When they were up in space, they killed a lot of people. If you didn't follow the rules, you got sucked out into space. They call it floating. You got floated in the show if you broke the rules. If you broke the rules, sharp punishment, you get floated off into space and you suffocate. That's how they took care of criminals when they were on the space station. So she's asking, and how many people died from Sector 5? Because they killed a lot of people on the space station, as you come to find out. When you write out 5, it sums to 42. This is season 4, episode 2. After she asks him this question, he responds, well, she's saying in the coaling when you sucked, because she's talking about how they used to suck all these people out. Coaling means to reduce population. Coaling equals 33, number of sacrifice. But anyway, after she asked this question about how many he killed in Sector 5, he responds with the answer 42. 42, season 4, episode 2, 42, this number stamped on black people throughout history. This is this man's answer. 42 people he killed. And then he says, would you like to know their names? Which causes her to sigh and walk away. Think about how the New Testament of the Bible begins with 42 names, the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. This man played a character very much like Jesus in season 3 when this religious awakening is happening. So get this real quick about this episode. Season 4, episode 2. Season 1 is 13 episodes. By the way, with regards to 13, there's this ongoing theme of 13 clans and trouble with 13. 100 years earlier, there were 13 space stations in space, but one of them could not get along with the other 12, so they killed it. in this show, there's a merger of 13 clans, but then when the 13th clan joins, they break each other's trust and it turns into a war between all of the clans. Anyway, season 1's 13 episodes. Think about how the United States began with 13 colonies, which there was strife, 13 stripes on the flag, 13 years of public school programming, USA equals 41, 41's the 13th prime. Anyway, season 1, 13 episodes. Season 2 and 3, 16 episodes each. Season 2, this is the second episode. So 13 plus 16 plus 16 plus 2 is 47. The word Christian's 47. This episode was also debuting on a date with 47 numerology. And there's this major Christian theme. Again, season 2 had the theme of the 47. Anyway, after he says 42, it just made me think of everything that had been shown, and I said, this is no coincidence. It's the very first time the number 42 is used in any episode. Check this out. The character who says he killed 42 people, his name is Jaha, which equals 11 like Jesus. And again, he plays something similar to Jesus in season 3 when he's spreading this spiritual awakening, which he ends up finding out is a deception and actually Satan. Anyway, the original printed Bibles, Christian Bibles, were 42-line Bibles. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. New Testament 42. The story of Jesus is truly the story of the sun in the sky. You know, astrology 42, knowledge 42, history 42, Zionism 42, Freemason 42. Consider that this episode debuted in February, Black History Month, the first time they used the number 42 in the show. And this is a show that uses the numbers in very symbolic fashion again and again. February, Black History Month, February 42, the hateful word for black people 42, the slaying brothers 42, slavery 42, the name Martin 42, Malcolm X 42, 42 very important to black history. The black character in the show, again using the number 42, season 4, episode 2. The leader of Sector 5, 542. So check this out. If you write out 42, it sums to 74, like Jesus, like Messiah, like cross, like gospel, like Masonic, like Jewish, like occult. This show is called The 100. 100 has gematria of 74. And again, this was the episode on the date with 47 numerology, the 47th episode. It's been pointed out many times before the parallels between the 42 principles of Ma'at, which go back to the ancient Egyptians, the black civilization, and the 10 commandments in the Bible. The first of the 42 principles is I have not committed sin. Sin equals 42. These are the 42 principles to live by. Let's just read them real quick. I have not committed sin. I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not stolen. I have not slain men or women. I have not stolen food. I have not swindled offerings. I have not stolen from God, goddess. I have not told lies. I have not carried away food. I have not cursed. I have not closed my ears to truth. I have not committed adultery. I have not made anyone cry. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not assaulted anyone. I am not deceitful. I have not stolen anyone's land. I have not been an eavesdropper. I have not falsely accused anyone. I have not been angry without reason. I have not seduced anyone's wife. I have not polluted myself. I have not terrorized anyone. I have not disobeyed the law. I have not been exclusively angry. I have not cursed God, goddess. I have not behaved with violence. I have not caused disruption of peace. I have not acted hastily or without thought. I have not overstepped my boundaries of concern. I have not exaggerated my words when speaking. I have not worked evil. I have not used evil thoughts, words, or deeds. I have not polluted the water. I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. I have not cursed anyone in thought, word, or deeds. I have not placed myself on a pedestal. I have not stolen what belongs to God, goddess. I have not stolen from or disrespected the deceased. I have not taken food from a child. I have not acted with insolence. I have not destroyed property belonging to God, goddess. A lot of those things seem redundant, but I mean, those are the struggles of life, and those are the major themes of this show as well. It's people in a desperate situation trying to survive, often, you know, going against their others for their own survival. You know, common themes that we see in this life. But again, this has a lot of parallels with the Ten Commandments as well. 42. New Testament, Christian part of the Bible begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. By the way, the word salvation is, freeing yourself from sin. Look at the gematria of salvation, 113, just like golden rule. And typically we talk about 113 for its dishonest programming. Remember, all of these numbers have duality. The golden rule is the answer to all of these problems. When you live by the golden rule, you live right. This show, The 100, what's funny is season 4, episode 7 will debut on March 22nd. Remember, the original credited publishing date of the Bible is March 22nd, 1457. 47 on 322. Not a coincidence, truth seeker. So let's talk about some more things. I learned something new about the symbolism of Jesus and the cross that to me is further evidence Jesus truly is a representation of the sun in the sky, an allegory for the sun. There's this symbol called Chi Rho, which also represents Jesus Christ. Chi Rho. This is the symbol related to Jesus. This is new information to me. Chi Rho has gematria of 61, like Jesus, like cross, like Christian, like Christmas, like church. Been talking about 61. Jesus Christ. The spelling of Christos this way, related to Chi Rho. Christos, interesting that it has the 119 gematria. Like all-seeing eye, like Star of David, like master plan. Confession in Vatican also have the gematria of 119. Some people say Jesus Christ, created by the Catholic Church in the year 331 AD. We'll touch on that. Want to expand a little bit more on the 61s in light of the Chi Rho. Again, time 61, solar deity, Jesus, John, cross, sins. Jesus died for our sins, we're told. Christian, Christmas, church, Holy Spirit, God. We just saw Kanye West on the cross in Hollywood on a date with 61 numerology. February 22nd, 2017, Hollywood and Kanye West, who had the early hit song Jesus Walks. Remember, rapper killing Masonic Jewish gospel Messiah, cross, Jesus, Machiavelli, all 74. A lot of dead rappers by the number 74. Biggie dead 74 days before his birthday in 97. But anyhow, a lot of interesting things about this story. It came February 22nd, 2017, a date with 61 numerology. Not by coincidence. Again, 61 is the 18th prime number, which factors into 666. Jesus Christ has a connection to 666, the number of the beast, taught about in Revelation. So this relationship between Jesus and prime, 61, a prime number, undivisible, cannot be divided. Prime numbers show strength. Notice prime numbers have gematria of 153, like Holy Bible, like the Illuminati, like sun. In satanic gematria, think about the miraculous catch of 153 fish. Jesus Christ, 151, which is the 36th prime number. When you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666. It's satanic gematria, where sun equals 153. Satanic gematria begins with where A is 36. When you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666. Z is 61. When you write out satanic gematria in satanic gematria, it sums to 666. I don't think it's any coincidence that sun equals 153. Again, in this show, the 100, which has a Zionist writer, the Zionist Jews, the false Jews. The narrative in season 3 is this man spreading, this religion that turns out to be Satan in disguise. I don't think anything's different with Christianity and Jesus. You look at most Christians, you can't find anyone more evil. You can't find a more evil belief system than Christianity as most people practice it. And understand this, for all you Christians who believe in Jesus and think it's working for you, see what you're a part of. Overall, Christianity is not working for anyone, nor is religion. Christianity's brought nothing but war and bloodshed. There's no religion that has more blood on its hands than Christianity. In season 3, by the end of season 3 in the 100, they're crucifying people. Religion. It's here to divide, it's here to conquer, it's here to destroy. Most people's prayers to Jesus aren't ever answered. People praying in the time of death, they just die. Most people, they wait for Jesus when instead they should have acted and saved themselves. So I maintain that religion's evil, Christianity's evil. Look at Christianity. It's like door-to-door salesmen. People banging on your door telling you to believe or else. Then they get mad at you when you tell them that Jesus is just an allegory for the sun in the sky, or you ask them some logical question. Well, why don't you believe in Zeus or, Poseidon or all these other gods taught about before? Oh, that was a long time ago. Well, what's your religion? Your religion's a long time ago, Christians don't think about it. They don't have they don't truly question their religion. They just accept and don't really think. And, that's what they want. They want believers, not thinkers. Religion is evil. Maybe you're not evil for believing in Jesus Christ, but a lot of people are. In fact, most are, because they think they're holier than thou. And they shut themselves off to all other information. It all comes back to math. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. The word math equals 42, which I should mention every single time and often forget. Math is 42. Mathematics is 112. Think about 1 plus 1 equals 2, 112. Remember the verse, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, sums to 223, like Masonic, like the synagogue of Satan, like 22/3, the publishing date of the Bible. But we've covered all this information in recent weeks. The first 144 decimal points of pi sum to 666. Think about how there's 360 degrees in a circle. Cut off the 0 from the end, you're at 36. 1 through 36 equals 666. Easter Bunny, Santa Claus. All these 74 words, truth seeker, you see them? Jesus Christ, Jesus, Yeshua, Joshua. That's the Greek translation. That's the English translation of Jesus. Cross, Messiah, Gospel, Lucifer, Christianity, Trinity, English, Gematria, alphabetic order, holiday, Independence Day, on 7/4, Masonic, Jewish occult. The United States of America, English, Christianity, it all goes together so perfectly. Out of the 50 states, only one sums to 74. Oregon, the 33rd state. Jesus on the cross at 33. Time, solar deity, Christian, John, sins, Trinity, authority, framework, foundation, seasons, beast, goy, Vatican, confession, all gematria 47. Again, proof that Christianity is based on the sun, the tropics of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, 47 degrees apart. The summer solstice and winter solstice marked by these tropics. The winter solstice comes just before Christmas, the celebration of Jesus, the tropics 47 degrees apart, 23.5 degrees north, 23.5 degrees south. The Tropic of Cancer, which marks the winter solstice, which is at the time of Jesus' birthday, Tropic of Cancer 74. Again, Jesus, the sun, the keeper of time. These points on the earth, 47 degrees apart, that allow us to keep time over the years. This is how they figured out time as we know it, making mathematical observations about the world we live in. For all of you getting taken by the flat earth psyop, the flat earth psyop is meant to make you stupid, make you look ridiculous, and take you away from truly understanding this world we live in. Anyone pushing the flat earth is a fraud, a liar. That's why you see all these people hiding their faces behind the screen, monetized channels. Don't be deceived. Flat earth's a psyop. So something else I overlooked all this time, Jesus of Nazareth, what he's commonly called. Jesus of Nazareth has gematria of 62 in the reduction and the septenary method, which is very interesting. Number of the Masons. March 3rd, 3/3 is the 62nd day of the year. You know, Jesus began his ministry at the Sea of Galilee. Galilee equals 33. They say the circumference of that body of water is 33 miles. So much 33 in the Bible with Jesus, things we've covered a number of times. Nazareth alone in ordinal sums to 93. Just like God's Son, just like crucifix, just like how they tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. Jesus of Nazareth. Nazareth also has the gematria of 39, like the number of books in the Old Testament. Nazareth also has the gematria of 42, huge in the New Testament. Jesuit has the gematria of 42, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. With regards to Galilee equaling 33, so does Son, so does God's Son, so does Sunday, so does the Son, so does Bible, so does Good Book, so does Jehovah, so does Genesis, so does Seed, so does Birth, so does Masonry, so does Secrecy, so does Order, so does Noah's Ark, so does so much more. There's so much 33 in the Bible. Jesus began his ministry at age 30 by the Sea of Galilee. Bible in ordinal gematria sums to 30. You know what's really strange about my own life? I discovered gematria at age 30. What is it about 30? You know, it's a number connected to Saturn, the keeper of time. Bible 30. Jesus began his ministry by the Sea of Galilee at 30. And of course, Jesus crucified reportedly at age 33. The story of Jesus ends at age 12 and then starts again at age 30, 18 years later. Remember, 18 factors into 6 plus 6 plus 6. So they say the first Bible was thought up by the Council of Nicaea, the Catholic Church, in the year 331 AD. That's an interesting year because 331 is the 67th prime number. Freemasonry has gematria of 67, so does Satanic, so does Soul. Council of Nicaea has gematria of 67. In the year 331, the Council of Nicaea formed the first Bible as we knew it. 331, the 67th prime. Seems beyond coincidence. And since we brought up the Catholic Church and the Vatican, let's also tie in this piece right here. Right now we have Donald Trump, the Jesuit president. We have the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis, who's going against a lot of Catholic tradition. We have Donald Trump, who, like all presidents, claims to be Christian because Christianity, part of the control mechanism for ruling over the masses. Remember, religion, government, money, they're all control mechanisms, and they're all controlled by the same people. The Freemasons, the Zionist Jews. They have been since the beginning. Where Washington, D.C. is, that used to be the Catholic colony. At the beginning of this nation's history, that was a Catholic territory. The Catholic Church was the government where Washington, D.C. now is. Within the Catholic Church are the Jesuits, who are the Masonic order. The Catholic Church was also created once upon a time by Zionist Jews. That's why it's such a, bastardized version of Christianity. And it was also the Catholic Church who made the day of worship Sunday, when in the Bible it says to worship on Saturday. It's just amazing how Christians just go along with all this stuff and don't see through the very obvious, It's again, because they're believers and there's no thinking going on. So people can go their whole life without thinking about the obvious. Like, why are you worshiping on Sunday? Couldn't be any more obvious. It's right in the Word. because you're worshiping the sun. Christianity steals all the pagan traditions. Pagan and Wicca both equal 39, like the 39 books in the Old Testament. You know, Christmas is at the time of Saturnalia, Saturn 93, Saturn the keeper of time to the occult, just like how they tell us the sun's 93 million miles away, God's sun 93, crucifix 93. The sun, the southern crux, what's going on at the time of Christmas in the southern hemisphere. Anyway, the Jesuit order is called the Society of Jesus, right? I want you to notice this. Society of Jesus, 187. Washington, D.C., 187, which is where the Catholic colony used to be. George Washington has gematria of 187. George Washington also has gematria of 74. Notice the name Rockefeller is 187. Zionist family of influence. The last Republican president in this country who claimed to be Christian, born on the 187th day of the year. Donald Trump this year had his GOP convention in Cleveland starting July 18th, 18/7, 187 days before Inauguration Day. Donald Trump, the Christian, or the first Jewish president, who says the only Bible verse he knows is an eye for an eye, which comes from the Old Testament, the Jewish way. This number 187, in Satanic gematria, the word time equals 187. You know, his GOP convention, Trump, the perfect date and time synced up with Inauguration Day. Satanic gematria, 187 is time. Another number for time is 144. In Jewish gematria, time's 144. Jesuit order has the 144 connection. Donald Trump's tagline from The Apprentice, "You're fired," 144. Headline over the weekend. March 11th, making fun of the masses, the scripted theater of politics, ongoing history we're living out by the numbers. When you write out 71 as a word, it sums to 144. When you write out Catholic, it sums to 71. When you write out Talmud, it sums to 71. Jewish text, you know, the Talmud. When you write out 44, it also sums to 144, another number for time. The number 44, the divisors of 44, they sum to 84. And the Jesuit order, they're called the Jesuits for short, Jesuit 84, Sunday 84, Savior 84. Think about who the saviors are in this nation, the lawyers, nation of law. Law equals 36, by the way. 1 through 36 sums 666. Jesus in Herod's court just before his crucifixion. 84, special number to this nation, United States of America. Zionism and Masonry both sum to 84. Donald Trump became a TV celebrity in 1984, 33 years before becoming the president in 2017. Again, Donald Trump began his Jesuit training in 1964, 52 years before being selected as the president, White House, government, prophecy, pope, devil, all gematria 52. Go back to September 23rd, 2015, the date Pope Francis met with Barack Obama at the White House. September 23rd, 23/9, that's the 52nd prime. The Pope, the President at the White House. That was also the 266th day of the year, and Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. Again, Washington, D.C., which was once the Catholic colony. And by the way, the 100 show is all set in the Washington, D.C. area. One of the main characters' name is Lincoln, and one of the only monuments left on Earth is the Monument of Lincoln. There's a reason for all of this symbolism. It all comes back together. It's all part of the same ongoing show. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, born on a date with 84 numerology. You know, Pope Francis the gangster. Show you this picture of him from before he was Pope. Here he is, Pope Francis, doing the hidden hand, a Masonic pose. The Jesuits, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church again. Here's George Washington doing the hidden hand. Some famous leaders from history here, because Freemasonry runs the show. Also, in case you don't know about the 33-day Pope, there was the shortest Pope tenure, which was 33 days. He died after the Jesuit order's birthday, which is September 27th. His last day alive was the Jesuit order's birthday. Everyone suspects that he was murdered from arsenic, the 33rd element on the periodic table. Arsenic in gematria sums to 33. The day he died, a date with 44 numerology, the kill number all throughout history. Also a date with 115 numerology, Masonic 115, killing 115. 33-day Pope. Dead on the date with 44 numerology. So anyway, we're covering a lot here. This might be an overwhelming post. I'm not sure I'm explaining it as clearly as I need to, but I'm just trying to say, this nation, a Masonic, Zionist, Jesuit creation by the numbers, infused with Christianity, and at the end of the day, it's all corrupt, it's all bankrupt, it's all about controlling and misleading and steering people. Today, March 13th, is the Hindu holy day. This holy day has a gematria of 44, which is interesting. What else is interesting is the gematria of Hinduism. Look at the 47. 47. Just like Christian. Those special numbers. Remember, the Freemasons have been around for thousands of years, and their game is order out of chaos, divide and conquer. And a lot of these religions have been created for that exact purpose. The Freemason compass and square, the compass that's above the G. If you know the Freemason symbol, the compass is set at 47 degrees. 47. We find this number coded on everything, Everything about religion is 47. The Zionist nation of Israel was established in 47. 47, 47, 47. It's the reason this nation's birthday is 4/7, the fourth day of the 7th month. All these religions are just all about control. That's why, as a person, what you should do is think for yourself, question authority, essentially create your own spirituality. Live by the golden rule. The golden rule is as simple as it gets. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you live by that rule, you can't do any better than that. And it's funny that that's what Jesus taught, but you find most Christians, they don't live by the golden rule. They live by, do you believe in Jesus? Oh, you don't? Well, then I hate you. That's pretty much what Christianity is in America. Oh, you're not Christian? Then I'll never talk to you, or I won't listen to you. I only listen to people who say they're Christian. And then that's why the powers that shouldn't be always say they're Christian, because they know that's how you get the herd. That's how you get the big pack of sheep. You just say you're Christian. That's why there's all these shield channels on YouTube that say they're Christian. And, for anyone who knows anything about Christianity, they should see right through these people. But again, most Christians have never even read the Bible. Most Christians don't know a single thing about the Bible. They just say they're Christian because they were born into it. It's fear-driven. It's believe or else. Most children born Christian are born to parents who are Christian who've never read the Bible, but they were told believe or else. Hellfire. It's just people being born into religion and carrying on the bullshit worldwide. All these religions are the same. Notice it says that their festival, it lasts 2 days starting on Purnima. Isn't this funny that it comes at the same time as the Jewish holiday of Purim? It's not hard to see who created all the religions. Just like I said the other day, the Jewish people created Christianity and Islam to control them. All the Muslim people get so angry at me. It's just what I hate. All of you guys are so invested in your religions. Your religions are all stupid. Can't you guys all see that all of your religions are just so dumb? I mean, read what it says in the Quran. To be clean, you have to wash your hands 5 times a day. I mean, what the fuck does that even mean? Doesn't mean jack shit. To be clean, you got to clean yourself when you get dirty. Just, living in the belly of whales, cleaning your hands 5 times a day. This stuff's just all nonsense ritual. Muhammad equals 74. You got Muslims on their knees praying depending on where the sun is in the sky. And then they say, oh, it's not sun worship because it says right here, don't worship the sun or the moon. Who cares? They got you on your knees worshiping depending on where the sun is in the sky. It's like, that's just what I don't, people, I don't know what it is about people. They can't see the obvious. They can't see when they're being lied to. Sure, you write a book to control people like Islam, like Christianity. You're going to write things that are in there that aren't true and that are meant to confuse and play with your head. That's why all of these religious texts are so hypocritical, so divisive. They don't even make sense. You read this verse here and you think, oh, okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Then you read this verse over here and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You guys, divide and conquer, order out of chaos, news, information that's meant to make your head spin. It's the same thing today. Pay attention to the news, which is controlled by the Zionist Jews. One day they tell you this, the next day they tell you that. You don't know what to think. Same thing with all these spiritual texts. That's why you have Sunnis and Shias and, you got fundamentalists in every religion. What all of you need to do is recognize you've all been duped. You're all, under the spell of lies. And recognize that if you can't accept it, you're just an intellectual coward. And you're willing to be part of the plague that is religion. Religion is a plague. Every single one of them. There's no religion that's not part of the plague. It's funny. And just people, they just turn so quick. Like, I've had people that follow me for 2 years, and then I finally say something against Islam, and then they're like, oh, well, I thought I liked you, but forget you now. They'll listen to me hate on Christianity, or I shouldn't even say hate it, but I mean just expose what it is. They'll put up with that 2 years, then I tell them the same thing about their religion, then they're right out the door. These people, religion breeds idiots. You show me someone who's religious, I'll show you a moron every single time. Every single time. So anyway, I'll link these blog posts. There's more here. Talking a little bit about Easter, the Eastern Star. For one last thought, we've always talked about how New Testament equals 42, begins with the 42 generations to Jesus, 42-line Bibles. I noticed that New Testament in reverse reduction is also 66, and the New Testament ends with the 66th book, Revelation, most printed Bibles. So, if you got some time, check out this show. It's on Netflix. You can watch the first 3 seasons there. The 4th season just began. But yeah, this is another TV show, one of many. Zionist writer trying to clue people into the truth of what's going on in our history. The truth about these spiritual figures. If there ever was a Jesus, I think the Zionists here are trying to tell you, he was black. Jesus, Jewish lineage, the Jews in the Bible, dark-skinned. It's funny how people believe Jesus is white and the Bible's set in a part of the world where there weren't white people. Again, comes back to believing and not thinking. So I'll link all these posts down below. That's it for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.